Love, light, and blessings. Shamanic Iraq Priestess here. First and foremost, thank you so much for all the views on my video about self initiation and close practices and all that beautiful stuff and questions and all the things. I'm actually going to be making a second part to that video because I got a really great question in the comment section, and I told the person that I would give them more of an in-depth answer because I feel like just replying to the answer was not sufficient, and it is a question that I've gotten on multiple occasions, so I figured I'll make a video on that topic in the future. But today's video is going to be about fortune telling, and basically how fortune telling can be so empowering, right? Because you have videos like how to empower your clients with tarot readings or whatever. You have so many videos like the ethics of tarot and third party readings and how you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that and da 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 da, right? Which is honestly more of a newer way of thinking. That is something that, newer readers are doing, and that's fine. We all have our ethics and all the good stuff. But I'm kind of over that whole discussion about how horrible it is and trying to convince the skeptics, that read tarot themselves, that how a lot of them view people like me as horrible for doing what I do. And I just don't even watch those videos, or things like ethics and witchcraft and how you shouldn't do this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. Kind of not even taking into account other cultures and how they view and how people have done for literally centuries, guys. Let's be real. Tarot is a divination tool, and I'm going to break down the different meanings and my take on it and give some points about how tarot, specifically fortune telling, predicting the future, how people that can actually predict the future can empower their clients with certain information, how that can be a positive thing. I am well aware of the scam artists. I'm well aware of people that use it to harm people, to take power away from people. So I'm already aware of, there's so many videos on the darker sides, blah, 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 blah. I literally have a thing that says fortune teller. That's what I do. I want to talk to you guys about the positive aspects, how if you have these abilities, how you can then use those abilities to empower your clients. So that's my perspective. It's not a video trying to convince skeptics, more of if you're someone who has these abilities, how you can help other people with them, or if you're just interested in the topic of fortune telling itself. Yeah, this video will be something there for you as well, so you can see my thoughts or whatever, or if you just want somebody wanting to hear different perspective. Okay, all right, so let's start with definitions, because anybody who knows me, I'm one of those types of people. Okay, so fortune telling, um ethical, yes, because everybody's ethics are different. Fortune telling, can it empower clients? So how to empower your clients with fortune telling. So let's get rid of the myths. Okay, fortune telling takes away the free will and the power of the people that you're predicting the future to. Wrong. We always have a personal choice. Just like you have a personal choice whether you get a tarot reading or not, you have a personal choice. I can't even talk personal choice whether you take what the reader is telling you. And if it resonates with you, it's up to you what you do with that information after the session is over. Okay, the reader is not liable for it, because at the end of the day, we all have free will. No one can take away your free will. Okay, so that's wrong. All right, fortune telling, a person who is supposedly able to predict a person's future either by palmistry, crystal ball, or any other form of divination. So that can even include cartomancy, oracle, whatever playing cards, whatever the case may be. Okay, I noticed that a lot of anti-fortune telling videos are specifically created by people who have never fortune told themselves, most of the time, have no idea what fortune telling actually is, and are people that are newer into the practice of tarot. Okay, not all, but a lot of. So that's why I said this is not a video to convince anybody. I feel like we can all approach tarot how we want. I'm just basically educating people on fortune telling and how you can empower people with that. All right, so we got fortune telling definition out of the way. According to the dictionary, divination, according to the dictionary, the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means, determining the hidden significance or cause of events, fortune telling the future by various natural, psychological, and other techniques. These are all so accurate because literally I do use divination to connect people with their past, present, and future. Okay, I also even provide, when available, when it's actually given to me through my spirits, time frames. And I literally do seek, okay, knowledge of the unknown or things of that nature by supernatural means, because my deck. So when I purchase a deck of tarot cards, okay, when I purchase a deck of tarot cards, currently I'm working with just the regular plaid backs here. Okay, I love Right Away. I always go back to it. Literally, these cards are dedicated to my spirits that are known for divination. Okay, I have like one main one that I use and then two other ones that I use as well, but there's one main one that's always around, and she just loves Right Away Smith. I've dreamed, she's spoken to me through dreams, and this really powerful ancestral spirit just really speaks through these cards, and I am the channel and the vessel that she uses to speak through me, that gives the information to the clients. So I literally do use this as a form of channeling and connecting with my spirit guides, you know, my ancestral spirits. And because this spirit is in the land of the spirits, you know, and on that other side, she connects me in the physical world. And I use my abilities to communicate with the dead to get all this information, you know, to kind of take me over the other side, if you will, like to, you know, open up that veil. So literally, I do practice divination. That's literally what I use my cards for. And yes, there are aspects to fortune telling, right, that explain why certain things have happened in your past and your present, how the past affects the present, and how the present can affect the future. There's a lot of psychological components to this as well. So when you're fortune telling, you're also intuitively counseling somebody as well, because if that person doesn't like the outcome of certain things, then you can give them, according to what your spirit guides are telling you, various options that can possibly change the future if it's something that's not destined or fixed. Because there's no such thing as fixed future and destiny, and then there are other futures, and I will tell my clients that this is not set in stone. This is like a forewarning. You can change the outcome. And then they'll ask me, like, how can I do that? And then I'll give them spiritual counseling advice on ways that they can change what I'm seeing in the cards, what the spirits are telling me. Cartomancy, fortune telling by interpreting a random selection of playing cards. Literally, my very first form of divination outside of reading a chalice, right, with water. So kind of like how people would read a crystal ball, right? I started with regular playing cards, okay? And literally my guide just spoke to me. The same guide that I have now loves playing cards, loves the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, okay? And yes, my guide helps me to fortune tell, to see into the future. The definition of tarot cards. The tarot is a pack of playing cards. See, so you can practice cartomancy with tarot because originally it was a pack of playing cards used from at least the 15th century in various parts of Europe to play games such as Italian tarocchi, French tarot, Australian tarot. In Europe, they also had something called the Spanish playing cards, okay? So I do read the Spanish playing cards, you know, the barajas. I do that a lot with spiritual investigations or cartomancy. But also tarot is a deck of playing cards. That's what it was originally made for. Then it evolved into a set of 22 playing cards bearing allegorical representations used for fortune telling, along with the minors. Okay, the unillustrated eventually becoming illustrated when they created the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and things like that, because it became all fully illustrated. Okay, so literally, even though this was a playing card, you had diviners, aka cartomancers, that used these deck of cards to predict the future. You can date it back to the 15th century. So people have been using playing cards for divination for hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, it has a long, respected, and revered history. I see too many times in people's comments how people are like, I don't even like to call myself a fortune teller, because you have a lot of people that will literally get on you about how unethical it is. And just like people that claim to be spiritual counselors or intuitive counselors want to be respected for their craft and how they practice their tarot, whether it's for other people or themselves, I feel like traditionalists, so people that are still using tarot as a form of fortune telling, right? That dates back into the 1500s, should be given that same respect, right? Everyone should be able to do what they want, but we should all do it respectfully. It is about time that all this damn fortune telling shaming ends already, because it's sickening. I will not make myself watch any more of these videos. I have literally stopped. I don't care to engage in discussions with people that create this content, because I'm sick and tired of it, to be honest. So I know what I know, and this has a rich history to it. So do what you will. Okay. A tarot reader. So a lot of people are like, I'm a tarot reader, but I don't do fortune telling, which again, that's up to you. But if we look at the definition of a tarot reader, it is a individual, okay, that uses a form of cartomancy, right? Where the tarot cards purportedly gain insight. So they gain insight, right, into the past, present, and future. So basically, a tarot reader is someone who uses tarot to predict the future. Even if that's not what some people that use this label are saying they do, traditionally, when people think of tarot, they think of predictive readings. When I worked on the psychic hotline for years, 99.99% of the people that sought my services wanted to look into their future, whether that was love, career, or just general, okay, life purpose, all these things. There was rarely anyone who ever sought anything else. And while I do other types of readings, I do mediumship readings, I do spirit guide readings, I do past life readings, I do all those things. 80 to 85% of the readings that I still do to this day, okay, I could even say 90%. Let's be real. 90% of the readings that I still do today, even when I'm in business for myself, is predictive. So when people ask me, how can you be successful in a hotline? How can you be successful? I don't understand. When you accept the fact, and you have to be honest with yourself, can you actually predict the future? And if you can, are you willing to embrace that? That's where your clientele is going to come from, because you may not think that their questions are important. You may not think that it's empowering, but it is empowering to tell someone about their future, because that client can take that information and they can either do things to change it if it's something that could be changeable, and knowing that they can change their future, and knowing that even though they may have made mistakes in the past, and even if they're currently making mistakes, they still have time to change the future if it's something they don't like, is empowering. Knowing that we have the power to create our futures, and that the actions that we take today can change our future, is empowering in itself. So predicting the future can be very empowering if done correctly and done for the right purposes. Third-party readings can be empowering if done for the right reasons. And like basically, so what do I mean? If someone access me to tell them what the intention of somebody is. I can actually channel the thoughts of other and know it is not unethical, because during those sessions, I have been able to tell people when someone has malicious and dark and horrible intentions towards somebody. And that has actually saved people. I've had clients whose children have literally been in danger by people they have had around their children. And I'm like, listen, this person strikes me as a pedophile. This person strikes me as an abuser of children. I don't like the energy that I'm channeling. And guess what? Those clients have listened, removed those people out of their life, and then found out this person had a whole history of harming children. So am I supposed to keep that information to myself because someone's making a video that doesn't even understand what actual fortune telling is, that has never really partaken in fortune telling, that has never grown up around the culture of fortune telling, and doesn't understand that there are those of us that can actually do this, that have helped hundreds and thousands of people? So no, I don't even, it's not even a question for me. It's not even a dilemma for me. If my spirit guides tell me something, I owe it to my client to tell them what I see. If the person that they are seeing, I feel like they have very bad intentions, I will tell that person, this is what I pick up. This is what this person's intentions are. It's up to the client to do what they do with that information. I've had people that I'm like, I feel like this person has a violent history. And then they're like, I don't know, I don't know. And then they find out, oh my goodness, you were right. This person actually put their hands on me. I'm so glad you told me, because I left the situation, because it wasn't a fluke. You literally told me it's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. Okay. So I remember years ago, I had a client whose child, they wanted to do a sleepaway camp. And I said, I just feel like your child's going to have some type of medical emergency. No, girl, I'm good. I'm good. Took her child there. And I said, I just feel like your child's going to get sick this weekend. Don't listen to the counselors, like, take the baby to the doctor. And I'm not a doctor. Still took the child to the camp. Child had respiratory issues because the child had no history of asthma or anything. Listened to me, took the child out. Thank goodness the child had double pneumonia. All this stuff was going on. She was like, they were like, no, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. And downplaying things because he didn't look physically sick. But because my spirits were like, hey, your child's in danger, that person listened to me. I've had clients that they've asked me about their children. I'm like, this person feels very depressed. Please seek medical attention. I feel like this child's going to try to self-harm, blah, 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 blah. And then they see that actually, like, the child tries to do that. They get the help. They remember the reading. So I've had people that I'm like, hey, I feel like there's a car accident. Be careful. It's not your destiny. You know, just be careful, such and such and such. They'll take the precautions, avoid it. There's been people that didn't listen and the car accident happens. Lives were lost. But I can still sleep at night because I told you I saw that, if that makes sense. I'm not going to sit here and keep those informations to myself just because you have people that have certain opinions. Opinions, you know, everybody has one. So, yeah, so fortune telling can be very empowering. Fortune telling can help you understand the past. You know, it can make you make peace with your past. It can help you see how your past affects your present and how your past and present can affect your future. There are certain things that are destined, okay? I've had, for instance, a client that I'm like, this person is destined in your life, but I don't want you to wait here and sit here and wait on predictions. Just know that they're meant to be in your life, you know, even if time frames fluctuate. And that would happen sometimes because, you know, free will. But guess what? The person lived their life. And then like 2 years later, they're back together, just like I saw. And they were like, I get it now. I was supposed to take these 2 years to heal, so on and so forth. Because that can happen. Time frames can change, but the outcome should always be the same. Like when it's destiny. When something's meant to happen, it's going to happen. Regardless how long we take to get there, like you're going to get there. But yeah, so... but most future is not fixed, right? Most future is not set in stone, right? There are very few things that are set in stone. So death, you know, we're all gonna die. And there's just certain things that are destined. And I always make sure to tell my clients, hey, this is part of your destiny. But most of the time, like, hey, this doesn't have to happen. There are things you can do to prevent it. They'll ask me, what can I do? And then I give them the tools. I give them the techniques or different things that can change within themselves, because change goes within ourselves. We can only control us, right? So I'll tell them, this is what you can do in order to sway things in your favor. Okay. So that's what I do. And then they do those actions, and the the future that I've always saw happens because they listen to the advice given to by spirit. Okay, so destiny can be delayed, but the outcome will always be constant and the same. I said that. Time frames can be fluid, so most happen, but sometimes, in rare occasions, right? It can be delayed, but it doesn't mean that you're still not going to get the outcome. It just means sometimes, even if you tell somebody, hey, don't do this, don't do that, they still do that. And then they're like, oh my God, did I change the outcome because of what I did? Most of the time, if it's destined, it'll still be there, but it might be delayed, but it will still be there. Especially like, okay, I messed up, but how can I remedy things so that I could still have that outcome and I could still manifest the outcome that I want? And it'll help you because then I'll tell you like this is what you can do to fix that situation. So even in those cases, that's still empowering. Okay, seeing the future can help you plan. Okay, it can help you plan. So for instance, I am not in the career that I want. You'll have people like, what is your life purpose? I'll tell them. They're like, oh, I was like, yeah, but see, I don't feel like you have the academia to cover that. So spirit is saying like there's going to be opportunities for you to go back to school so that you can fulfill your life purpose. Oh, okay. Because you'll have people like, oh, I don't know if I should go back to school. And then the spirit will be like, this is your life purpose. So yeah, you will have to go to school to fulfill that. And then they're happy. I have a person right now that I was like, your life purpose is to be a healer. And they have always delayed like nursing school. They're about to get their master's at this time from nursing, a master's in nursing. Okay, a single mother with multiple children and so many obstacles. But once they listened to spirit and did what they had to do and understand that the reason why your love life was delayed is because they wanted you to fulfill that higher purpose. When this person started to fulfill their higher purpose, the man of their dreams came like I always saw. But the man of the dreams kept getting delayed because the person kept waiting on that man versus like what I kept saying, but you're going to meet them through nursing school. They heard the meet the person. So it's important to listen to the whole thing, right? When they finally did their life purpose, guess what? The man that I always saw is in their life. It was through medical school, a doctor, right? So, yeah. So, knowing what's to come, heeding the advice of spirit can really help you create a life that you never knew was possible. We can create the futures that we want in knowing what are the possible outcomes, right? And being empowered with different options and how to either change that or to keep on the track because, all right, I like what I'm doing. If what I'm doing right now is going to give me this wonderful outcome, then I'm going to keep staying to that. What do I need to keep doing? What do I need to work on? I use tarot for goal setting when I want to, when I want to like manifest something, and then I'll see like when I change my actions the outcome changes into something more positive. That's what I'm saying, like we can change the outcome and things of that nature. And that's the common misconception people have, that if you predict the future, oh, that's what's all that's going to happen, that's it. And that comes from ignorance, because that literally is not what fortune telling is at all. So it can make you feel more in control of your life, like I said, and it's a gift. So don't abuse this gift. There's been times, like I said, I remember being in my mambo's house and her friend, and I'm like, yo, like I have a vision of you literally standing on that light post and getting hit by a car, and we convinced him not to leave, and literally around the time that I saw, there was a car accident there. I had no way of knowing that. There's been time with my own child. I was like, I don't think you should go out this time. Like, you're in danger. She didn't listen to me. Had almost a near-death experience, but I was praying because I saw it, and the spirits literally protected this child. They were like, we're never going to doubt you again, mama. So, and their life was spared because I got to see into it. I prayed about it. And when they saw things got a little weird, the words that I said were in their brain, and they got out of that situation. Had I never said anything, they would have stayed in that situation, and I would not even have my child right now. And someone in my family went missing. And let's be real, there's like a lot of like, let's be real, there's a lot of like prejudice when it comes to when people go missing. Just certain people make the prime time news, if you will, nationwide news, versus the hundreds and hundreds of indigenous women that go missing, and or transgender black women, or black women in general, women of color, and you hear people, it's very rare. Anyways, this male family member went missing, And the mom is very, very Christian. The siblings are very, very Christian. So I have family that does not accept what I do, whatever the case may be. But the mom was talking to me about the situation, and I said, if it's okay with you, let me channel and see what I get, because the police weren't taking it seriously. The mom showed me videos. I kind of channeled how this person was getting harassed. And I said, their life partner, their ex-boyfriend, so their ex-life partner has this person. I described how they were being held against their will, and how their life was in danger. And they were like, oh my goodness. And the police would just not search the place. I had no insight to this situation, so it wasn't like I knew this and I'm just guessing. No. I even got a description, because I literally could, because I can do that at times. Like, I can literally be physically present spiritually in a place, and I described the apartment he was being held at, the people, what they look like, all the things. And literally, like, his youngest sibling went into the ex's place, like pretty much tricked the person. And the police wouldn't search the place because they didn't have a search warrant. But the siblings, like, I feel like this family member, me, is correct, because it would make sense. They were the last person that had contact. Long story short, I did a ritual to my voodoo spirits. And I said, this person's going to return back to you in 48 hours, literally going to take the first chance they get to escape. So I did my rituals, my spell work, just to kind of protect that person. Within 48 hours, my family member calls me and was like, everything you said, from the people you described to how this person looked and everything, and the fact that you said have your youngest child ready to pick him up around 2, 3 o'clock, like it's gonna be like a weird time. Knowing that my child took that day off because they usually work the overnight shift. Had they not been available to literally meet up with said sibling, who knows where this person would be. So am I supposed to keep that information to myself because people say that fortune telling takes away people's free will? There's a lot of positive sides. There are literal psychics that work with the police that have helped to find missing people. And yes, there's Silver Browns out there that should have never told that woman that her daughter died. She was wrong. And this poor woman died of a broken heart. But for the Sylvia Browns of the world that did those kind of things, and to my opinion has been very inaccurate in a lot of stuff, there are legitimate psychics out there that are not as famous, that are not on TV, that help people in the everyday, that have worked with law enforcement to actually find missing people. I've had that ability before. Like, I've actually helped even clients. I remember I had a client whose child went missing, and I said, the child wasn't kidnapped. I feel like the child's in a wooded area and they're rebelling. Like, they're going to return back to you like around 10 hours to 24 hours, but I still feel like you should call the police. Of course, go search out for this child. And the child went back home around the time that I said, and things of that nature. And so, like I said, there's nothing wrong with fortune telling if you're doing it to benefit someone, if you're doing it with the intentions of empowering a person. So I feel like, people could say whatever they want, but we need to have an open mind. Just because that's not your experience doesn't mean that it isn't valid for other people. There are a lot of cultural and ancient practices. The Egyptians, Africans, Native Americans, the Celtics, all these ancient religions of the past that honored and had reverence for the fortune teller, the one that could walk between the worlds, the ones that could connect to spirits, the ones that could bring forth messages from your loved ones. Okay, even mediumship can be ethical if it's done for the right reasons, okay, to be of benefit to said current client, person, or whoever's coming to you for help. So that's all I gotta say about this topic. If you have these abilities, do not let all the naysayers, the over abundant videos condemning and literally stepping on people that do these things. Okay, all these things are valid. Pick a card reading people are valid. People that do free readings on YouTube for astrological signs are valid. It is up to the viewer to take what resonates and discard the rest, right? We are all responsible for our own actions. And like I said, I cannot speak for everybody, but I know people within my circle who have abilities like myself have done a lot of good. Okay, have done a lot of good. So fortune telling is not unethical. Third party readings are not unethical. None of that is unethical. Okay, that is just not. So again, some people can't do that, and that is perfectly fine. But if you can't do it, don't speak against something that you yourself have never done, or you yourself have never been around. And are there scam artist people that claim to be psychics that aren't? Of course they are, but there's more good people than there are those types of people. And I feel like a lot of times people try to dilute tarot readings and divination and cartomancy to fit the mainstream. I'm not doing that. I don't like when they do that with the ATRs. I don't like when they do that with witchcraft. I don't like when they do that. I don't need to fit into something that makes you comfortable. I am who I am, and I am what I am. And that's why I hang up that sign behind me. I'm a fortune teller, and I'm damn proud of it. Hashtag fortune teller, okay? All right, guys. If you want to have a one-on-one reading with me, you can literally go to my website. I'm going to leave the link in the bottom of the description box below of this video. And you can contact me for a private reading, shamanic@workpriestess.com, shamanic@workpriestess.com. Much love, much light, much blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please comment below. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment below. Guys, thumbs up and comments is what raises my videos in the YouTube algorithm, and more people can discover me on YouTube, because I do want to grow this little community and I want to engage. I like to conversate. I answer all my comments. So please let me know what you think of this topic, and let's discuss. Let's discuss in the comment area below. Bye, guys.